Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been a while since the last market update, but there's a lot of fear mongering going on right now on the internet when it comes to the Las Vegas real estate market, where the economy is, how people are reacting to the economy, and how Las Vegas is getting affected with all the empty casinos, real estate market, inventory going up to the moon, according to the article. I'm going to show you one in a second, a few of them in a second. And I'm going to tell you what the data is so that you can make a rational decision yourself whether this is happening or not and how this affects your ability to purchase, sell real estate. And also, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in the future. So let's get into it. Okay. I get articles like these all the time. Home builders have 9.8 months of supply on their lots. It has only happened 6 other times in U.S. history. 5 of the 6 times it led to a recession. And you can see here the Fed information. And this is actually true. I like what this guy posted. It's actually true compared to the this is pretty much all of the inventory in the United States. Okay, we're talking about United States. Months of supply of new homes in the United States. And you can see here back in 71, 75, we had a recession here. Now, when these recessions actually happened, you have to understand not necessarily prices went down of real estate, because out of the last 6 recessions, we only had prices go down only once. And when it comes to real estate, that's in 2008. But we did have a recession, so other parts of the economy did suffer. People lost their jobs and stuff like that. But out of all 5 times it led to a recession, some other times it didn't. I'm not sure which one it did. But this is just one of the many articles that gets a lot of views. This was on Facebook. The Review Journal, the Las Vegas Review Journal, is the one that gets a lot of views. And you can see here, Las Vegas home building market is slowing. Here's why. And it tells you, a few things about it. Well, we're going to talk about the real data, but these are all fear-mongering, titles. And what you have to understand about this is that just because the market is slowing, it doesn't mean that prices are going down. Keep that in mind, okay? And people read this and they say, oh, well, if the home building market is slowing, then prices are going down. I'll explain in a second. There's another article. Las Vegas home builder sales keep falling. Remember, sales keep falling. They never say that prices keep falling. Sales means the number of sales keeps falling. That means how many homes are being built. It's going down. And, not how many homes are being built, it's just how many homes are being sold from the home builders. That amount is going down. Here's another article. Most homes for sale in Las Vegas Valley are unaffordable for locals, reports say. Approximately 20% of the houses listed for sale in the valley are unaffordable. Are affordable. Sorry, only 20% are affordable, is saying here. The rest are not affordable. And that's understandable. Now, it's not the price that is unaffordable. The problem is the interest rate. It makes the house unaffordable. But we'll talk about that in a second. So, what does this mean? And what's actually happening in the market? Let's go to the data. This is the housing inventory. And this is in Las Vegas, Henderson, and Clark County in general. Okay, so this is the Las Vegas Valley. This is the housing inventory. It's not the new homes only. It's every home, even resale. And you can see how, it usually fluctuates. This is 2016, 2018. It fluctuates anywhere between 9,500 to 4,500 within the last 10 years. There it is. And then we had April 2021. That was during COVID. Inventory went down like crazy because everybody stopped building. Supply chain issues. Only 4,300 homes. It went down to a low of 3,700 homes, which is like 1 month of inventory on the market, which means if they stop making homes, after 1 month, there will be no homes available on the market. This was back in 2022. Then we had interest rates go up. Everybody freaked out. Everybody that was waiting on the sideline put their house for sale. A bunch of inventory came on the market. We went up all the way to 11,000 homes. And we had a correction here in Las Vegas of about 10% or so when it comes to sales price. So homes went down in value up to 10% from the peak back in 2022. Okay. And it took about 6 months or so to reach that peak of amount of real estate. But then inventory naturally corrected and it went down to about 6,000 homes on the market in the summer of 2023, like April 2023. It fluctuated. We have the summer rush where we have more sellers come on the market, and then inventory kept coming down. September 2023, inventory is down to 5,000. 4,700 back in February 2024. And then ever since, rates have been pretty much steady, but inventory has been rising. Went up, 8,000 homes in November 2024, all the way up now to 10,000 homes on the market in July of 2025. We'll see what's happening on my MLS with a little bit more information for you guys. So, what does that mean? That means that there's a lot more homes on the market. And how many buyers are there available? Let's look on the MLS information. This is specifically for Clark County. It considers all types of homes, so condos, single families, everything. And we have a 20-year chart here. And you can see we have 2026. We had the low inventory of about 1.9 months of supply. Right now we're measuring the months of supply, which means how many months of homes we have available. It's a weird way to see how the market is doing. The less months of supply, the hotter the market it is. We had that hot market in 2021. This was like very low inventory. Right now we have 4.6 months of inventory as of July 2025. Okay, as of August 2025. So inventory went up, yes, but as far as months of supply, this is not a crazy market. It's not like prices are tanking. Those are the realtors that are online that are saying that prices are going to go down. They've been saying this for the last 13 years, 20 years probably. They've been saying that on YouTube. But they're still yet to be right, but yet they have a bunch of followers and a bunch of views. But yeah, 4.5 months of inventory is what we have right now on the market. Now let's look at sales price, because this is important. Is how much homes are listed, how much are selling for. This is the median sales price in Las Vegas. Before the Great Recession, the Great Housing Recession that we had in 2006, 2008, prices went down. We hit a low of an average of $105,000 for the median sales price in Las Vegas, which is crazy low. Then we had this big bull run all the way until 2022. 445 was the average sales price. We had the correction of 10%, even more than 10%, because of the interest rates going up. So it went down to 386. And then prices started going up with the steady interest rates that we have, up to $440,000. So pretty much we are at about all-time highs. 445 was back in May 2022. 440 is right now. So you should expect to sell your house right now if you bought it at real value. You didn't overpay, or you didn't pay too little for your property. You should be pretty much breaking even right now if you were to sell your house compared to 2022. Okay, when interest rates were at 3%. Right now we have interest rates around 6.5%, probably going down to 6.25. We'll talk about that in a second. But this is the average sales price. We're still at all-time highs pretty much. New listings coming on the market, kind of, pretty much the same. So this is showing me here that, we have had pretty much the same amount of listings coming on the market. Yeah, they've been going up a little bit, but nothing crazy. So there's nothing wrong with the amount of listings coming on the market. It's just the amount of people that are buying is going down. And I think that's what's creating the higher months of supply, because the months of supply, as you can see, it's a little bit higher up there. But 4.5 months is more of a buyer's market, in my opinion. But they consider that more of a steady market. Anything between 4 to 6% is more like a an average market. Okay, so that's what they say. I consider that more of a buyer's market. At least that's what's happening in Las Vegas. And yeah, the amount of closed sales are down. We're selling pretty much 2,500 homes in August, which is very low for the average. Over here we are at 4,000, 3,000 pretty much. Right now we're down to 2,500. In winter, you should expect that to be about 2,000 a month or so. So that's what's happening. Anyway, that's a little bit the data. But how do I, what do I see from this data? That we are seeing slowdown when it comes to the amount of homes being sold, when it comes to the amount of, like, even the sales price is kind of going down right now. I'm telling you up front, when it comes to at least new builds, prices tend to go down when you have this much inventory. And I would argue that you could probably see a correction of about 2 to 3%, maybe 5% in the future coming into the winter. But like, it's already happening. Like, prices are already going down that much. But, you know, it's nothing crazy. I don't think it's something seasonal, I would say. And prices are not really correcting. The amount of homes being sold is going down, which is bad for the economy and everything. But overall, prices are staying up because people are locked into their low interest rates and can't get out of it. And that's probably what's going to keep happening, even here in Las Vegas, because prices are not going down, even though we are the capital of entertainment of the world. And people say, oh, Las Vegas is going down like crazy. There's nobody here on the Strip. I mean, year over year, we're down about 7 to 10% as far as people visiting Las Vegas. But that's still a really big amount of people, you know, a big amount of people coming and visiting the city. So, again, this is all fear-mongering that is online. They're trying to sell you views. Maybe they have a product to sell you. The more views they get, the more they sell. Now, here we go. This is the 10-year Treasury yield. It's been steady for the last 3 years, pretty much. We've been at around 4% on the Treasury yield, which means interest rates on the mortgages are going to be around 6.5%. So this red line that you see right here is the median for the last 3 years. And you can see that's going to be around 6.5%. At some point, we had 7.5% interest rates. Sometimes we went down to 6% interest rates. But it's been hovering right there around that 6.5% interest rate. Right now, we're at almost at about 4.1% on the Treasury yield. If you look at the 30-year mortgage rates, it is 6.58. That's without you buying down anything, having a good credit score and all that stuff. You should be getting a 6.58%. If you pay 1% origination fee, which is the amount of closing costs that you have, which is 1% of the purchase price of the house, you should expect this to be around 6.25, the interest rate on a loan. Okay, maybe even 6%, depending on what kind of loan you have. If it's an FHA, VA, many things to consider. So that's what we have going on. I mean, interest rates, these are not bad. 6.58, I would take that. You know, it's a pretty good interest rate. Now, let's talk a little bit about my predictions and what I think is going to happen, just to wrap it all up together. We went over the data. We went over some fear-mongering articles and all that stuff. That's always going to be here. You look at the past 20 years, they've been saying that prices are going to go down. And it never stopped. You know, maybe 15 years since the prices were so low. But even back then, when prices were low, they were saying there's going to be a double dip recession. I remember that used to be a thing. And prices are going to go down to zero pretty much. So that's what was happening. That's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening. And they might be right. The problem is you never know when that's going to happen. It could be now. It could be a year from now. It could be 5. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 20. We don't know. Even if that does happen, we don't know if interest rates are going to go down. And when we look at the past 6 times that we had interest rates that we had recessions, we had also prices kind of stabilize or go up in real estate, other than 2008. That's what the data says. If you don't agree with me, prove me wrong. Send me a text message with your data and we'll talk about it. Anyway, that's what it is. So what I foresee in the market, I think in the future, prices are overall going to go up. Right now, prices are not that high. If you consider, they're all-time high, but considering the amount of money that people are making as wages are going up every year and inflation happening, the nominal price of the house is not that high. It's just that the interest rates being high at 6.5% compared to the 3%, 2.5% that you could get, just 3 to 4 years ago. These are considered high prices, but it's really the interest rate that is higher. So if interest rates do come down, we're going to see new all-time highs. Prices keep going up, maybe 10, 20%, could be even 30% if we go to 0% interest rates, which is like 3% on the mortgage rates. If we go back to the pretty much levels that we had 3 to 4 years ago, I could see prices go up 20% easily on new construction homes and on homes in general. So that is my take. And I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case. They're going to keep printing money and the nominal value of the house is going to keep going up. Now, do I have a crystal ball to see that? No, I don't. I might be wrong. There might be a recession. Maybe prices are going to stabilize. But even if they do, they're probably going to decrease interest rates, which is going to keep prices up, even though there's no jobs for people because there's a recession. So many factors that go into place right there. Regardless, I don't think they're going to go down. Now, what's your situation if you have to sell? If you have to sell, you have to buy somewhere else. Maybe you have to rent. I don't know. Rent is actually a pretty good deal right now. You can probably rent a property for way less than what you would buy it for. It's not a bad deal going into renting if you have to sell. But if you wait out until interest rates go down, then you have to purchase at a higher price. Versus purchasing now, you can always refinance when the interest rate goes down. So you can leverage on that. That would be my take. If you have, let's say, a horizon of about 5 years or more, get into a house, get a 30-year fixed rate. You'll likely refinance it within the next 2 to 3 years at a lower interest rate when prices are 20% more expensive. That's my take. But you do your thing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments if you have any questions, concerns, or anything. But that's my take. All this fear-mongering stuff is just BS that people post just to get clicks because it sells. And I don't think that's going to happen. It's just my 2 cents. I know I'm biased. I'm a realtor, yeah, sure. But I could be saying, I could say that to get more listings, right? If I wanted to fearmonger people. So all the viewers in here would say, oh my gosh, prices are going to go down. I better sell now before prices go down. That's not going to happen. If you have a property, you should keep it. You should rent it out, especially if you have a low interest rate. Keep that as long as possible, and then you're going to start you should cash flow already because you have low interest rate on the property. And you buy another one. When interest rates go down, you refinance the new loan, and you're all set. That's my take. Buy as much real estate as you can. Sit on it for the long term, and you'll be good. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do these a little bit more often, but just want to give you guys a little bit of an update. Everybody, a lot of clients, they call me and say, oh, these realtors, they're always posting videos online that market is going down. Yeah, it's hard right now to sell. It's not easy. It's a hard time. You have to price the house right. You have to price a little bit below what the real value of the home is because there's competition. There's, there's a lot of listings and less buyers on the market. It could switch easily. Right now, the interest rates are supposed to go down. They say in September there's going to be a cut, I think on the 20th or 25th. I'm not sure when the meeting is for the Federal Reserve. That should bring interest rates slightly down. Maybe we'll hit 6%. I think once we get into the fives, we're going to have, again, a seller's market. That's probably what's going to happen. We're going to reach new all-time highs when it comes to sales price of homes. And it's going to keep going slowly like that. 3 to 5% appreciation per year. That's what we've been having. That's what's going to keep happening. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.